This week has been leading up to a big week in all things aircraft, and certainly it has delivered on that. We've got all the latest aircraft updates, announcements and release news, including this week's sim development updates, so let's not waste any more time on the intro and jump into the video. Kicking off this week's previews and announcements, Just Flight this week updated the development of its impending Fokker F-28 with a preview of the new cabin and cabin systems. The Fokker features a fully model accessible cabin which has different configurations for the different types of variants of the aircraft. Just Flight has added some new interactive features to the cabin, including a full interactive cabin crew panels. Lights can be switched off, music can be played, temperature control can be placed up or down, and this is all done through the cabin panel. The service doors and the passenger doors can all be opened up from the inside. Just Flight basically is cramming as much as they can into the Fokker project, and they mentioned the release of the Fokker has slipped all the way back to sometime in June. I'll leave a link in the description of where you can check out Just Flight's latest video of the Fokker cabins. Blackbird Simulations, formerly known as Milvers, have announced many projects of development. One of those projects was announced back in 2021 was the Boeing 737-200. We haven't heard much about the project until now, but Blackbird is showcasing some very early development screenshots of the overhead panel of the 200. No updates from the team on how the project is progressing, just some screenshots for the moment, and from the looks of things, I wouldn't expect to see the 737-200 in the sim anytime soon. Looks like there's a few development days left in this one. Coronado has announced its next release is coming very soon. The team have been developing the Cessna 182RG. The team confirmed over on their Facebook page that the 182RG will be available on Xbox upon a release. There's no featured list being supplied at this stage, but knowing Coronado's previous releases, we're expecting it to be a similar feature list. But for now, we do have some pictures of what it's going to look like. Orbex this week have announced a very anticipated Melbourne airport is coming soon. The team showcased a very short video and mentioned that the airport with its immediate surroundings and areas will release soon. Orbex mentioned and announced that this release will feature a detailed terminal, taxiways, runways and local points of interest, including landside hotels, car parks, McDonald's and more. Knowing Orbex, once they announce the product, it should release it very soon, and we may see it in the next week. DC Designs this week have updated us on the development of its F4 Phantom project. The F4 Phantom has been in development for some time now, and the team mentioned now that the closing stages of production have begun. Cockpits are completely built, external modeling is looking good, and lighting and other small effects still need to be added, including the big smoke trails for the engines. DC Designs mentioned that the Phantom should be ready for release sometime in early June, and expect to see a release over on the Just Flight store. Keeping in line with some more Aussie news, Seafront Simulations this week announced their next location where they plan to populate ships and ocean vessels next. This time around, the team is focusing on the city of Perth with Vessels AU Perth, and it will include areas all the way up to Two Rocks and Rottnest Island. The team mentioned there'll be plenty of ferries on its routes to Rottnest Island, and also we'll see a bunch of Anzac class frigates which have landable helipads. There's no ETA at this stage and when we'll see the release from Seafront Simulations, but for now the team has provided some screenshots for us to take a look. Moving on to this week's release news, and if you're enjoying the content so far, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't for more flight sim news. Thank you very much for your support. Lionheart Creations this week have released their next project, which is the Bellingcat Super Viking. The Viking is a single-engine, 4-seater high-performance aircraft with retractable gears. They were manufactured in the USA from 1968 to 1975, and they were a competitor to the Cessna 210, the Mooney M20, the Piper Comanche, and also the Beechcraft Bonanza. They first flew in 1967, and over that time, over 1,300 were built, and many are still flying around today. As with many marketplace releases, the feature list provided is pretty small, but this is what we have. It will include several interiors and panel covers, belly landing capabilities if you're practicing emergency procedures, 4K high-res textures, Asobo avionics. Animations include passenger doors, cargo doors, and vents. There's 2 versions when it comes to instrument lights, and a PDF manual is included. You can pick up your copy of Lionheart's Creations Bellingcat Super Viking directly from the InSim Market store. It's available for PC at the moment, but the team has mentioned it will be available for Xbox as soon as possible. Apex Gaming PCs and the Oz Flight Simulator channel have partnered up to create a range of gaming flight sim PCs tailored to flight simulation pilots in mind. The private pilot and the commercial pilot range has been designed to provide a great frame rates if you are on a budget or if you're an experienced simmer and want to take your simming to the next level. You can even customize to suit your virtual pilot needs. Links in the description below if you want to check out the new range of Oz Flight Simulator PCs, the private pilot and the commercial pilot. This week has been a big week for the console simmers, finally having some study level aircraft releasing this week. Console simmers have been waiting many long months since the introduction of WASM is included in the sim, and now we're seeing some AAA aircraft titles making its way to the marketplace. That being said, this week not only did Just Flight update their BAE 146 Professional for PC, it's now been released on the console. The Whisper Jet features accurate model versions of the 146, including the 100, the 200, the 300, the QC and the QT versions. Hundreds of external animations with this one. Custom ground equipment are included. 4K and 8K PBR textures are used. High detail exterior and cockpit lighting. EFB is included and it works with the aircraft payloads, flight planning, monitoring and sim brief and navigraph support, automatic aircraft configurations if you don't want to do cold and dark, and detail systems including electrics, hydraulics, pressurization and autopilot. There's many different liveries included, and I'm really just scratching the surface when it comes to the features on this one. You can pick up your copy of the Just Flight BAE 146, now available for Xbox on the Marketplace store, or if you're a PC user you can pick it up from there or the Just Flight store. Keeping up with the Xbox releases this week, PMDG, Boeing 737-800 and the 700 have finally been released on the console. The PMDG series of the 737 have been rebuilt from the ground up to take advantage of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 tech. Features include highly detailed model, custom sounds, custom flight model detail systems when it comes to electrical, hydraulics, pneumatic and many more. Detailed FMS, a detailed autopilot including VNAV, LNAV and also it's flyable for SIDS and stars. Just to note, there are only 2 aircraft out of the 4 in the series from PMGG that have been released so far. We still have to wait for the 600 and the 900 to come. PMDG mentioned that delivery packs have been submitted for approval to Microsoft for the aircraft. Hopefully they will arrive soon, and at the last update from PMDG they will be at an extra cost. You can pick up your copy of the PMDG 700 or 800 now for Xbox console over on the InSim Marketplace store, or for PC as well, unless you want to pick it up from the PMDG store directly for PC only. FSim Studios mentioned in early April they were getting close to releasing their next airport, and this week we have seen the release of Calgary International Airport. Calgary Airport is located 11 miles from the downtown of Calgary, and it's the 4th busiest airport in Canada. The airport's seen many updates over the past years and now can claim it has the longest runway in Canada and also the tallest control tower. WestJet Airlines have a hub here, and you can see traffic from other Canadian airlines such as Air Canada and Flair Airlines. Features include an accurate rendition of the airport, high-res textures, detailed terminals, realistic night lighting, detailed twin otter manufacturing buildings, Air Canada maintenance hangar, and the doors of that is animated depending on the weather. GSX profiles included, but obviously you need GSX to use them and optimize for excellent performance. You can pick up your copy of FM Studios Calgary directly from their store. I'll leave a link in the description below, and at this stage there is no word from the developer if they're going to make this for a Xbox version. Moving on to this week's Flight Sim news, the Microsoft team mentioned that Aircraft and Avionics Update 2 continues to go well. The team is preparing a new beta build which they hope to have available to testers in the next few days. The Aircraft and Avionics Update 2 is still scheduled to go live on the 23rd of June, so we may see 1 or 2 more builds to go to release to the testers before we see this one goes live. Ahead of the Aircraft and Avionics update, we'll see the City Update number 2 and also the Local Legends at number 9. These will be released 1 week before that. Moving on to this week's backlog list, and we've seen a few changes with reductions of 66 products from last week, which is great news. Aircraft are down from 45 to 41, which we've seen releases in this week's Sim Marketplace store. Airports are down from 191 to 143. Sceneries are down from 218 218 to 213, and missions are down from 69 to 57. Only 2 products at this stage are set on the high priority queues when it comes to all products, and these fall under the aircraft category. This week on the InSim marketplace, we've seen a total of 92 new products. 36 of these available for PC, but majority of this week's releases have been on the console with 56. As we mentioned before, Just Flight BAE 146 and the PMDG 737-700 and 800 have been released on the console. The Lionheart Super Viking on PC and MS Sceneries are smashing out aircraft with a KC-135, and also there's a boat from Ringrogos Moraes, if I said that correctly. As always, please do your own homework when purchasing some of the items when it comes to the InSim marketplace store. Cheap is not always the best. Other items on the marketplace are made up of 9 livery releases, 39 airport releases, 1 night lighting release, 1 mission release, and 1 environmental release. We look forward to bringing you more flight sim content on the channel soon, so please consider subscribing if you haven't, and if you enjoyed the video, smash that like button and stick around for another video. Thank you very much for your support.